जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवारधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवारधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवारधारी यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदना ब्रज यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गिरिधारी राधे जय राधा जय जय राधा गिरिवरधारी श्री राधे जय राधा गिरिवरधारी राधे जय गौरा निताय जय गौरा निताय जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय गौरा जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री श्री राधा गिरधारी की जय। श्री गौर निताय की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च Śrī Rūpam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdhutam Parijana Sahitam Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devam Śrī Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Śrī Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishmanup Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaivcha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Advaita Gadadhara Śrīvāśādī Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Namo Vishnu Padaya Bhakti Vedanta Swami. So we'll Hare Krishna, welcome to our Saturday Satsanga program. Very nice bhajans by Arpana Mataji and Rup Manohar Prabhu and all of you for giving company and so it's nice to see you. Hare Krishna. So we'll discuss one very famous verse from chapter 4. Evam parampara praptim. I think what verse? 4.2. So if you want the book, you can take, otherwise you can pull on your phones. 4.2, so we can chant together. Evam parampara praptim imam rajrishayo vidu sakale neha mata yogo nashta parantapa. You can chant, Prabhuji? You can chant? Oh, I see, okay. Anyone remembers? Anyone want to chant, Prabhuji? Evam parampara praptum imam rajrishayo vidu sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. Evam, thus, parampara, by disciplic succession, praptam, received, imam, this science, rajrishya, the saintly kings, vidu, understood, sa, that knowledge, kalena, in the course of time, eha, in this world, mahata, great, yoga, the science of one's relationship with the Supreme, nashta, scattered, parantapa, O Arjuna, subduer of the enemies. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is clearly stated that the Gita was especially meant for the saintly kings, Raj Rishi, because they were to execute its purpose in ruling over the citizens. Certainly, Bhagavad Gita was never meant for the demoniac persons who would dissipate its value for no one's benefit and would devise all type of interpretations according to personal whims. As soon as the original purpose was scattered by the motives of the unscrupulous commentators, there arose the need to re-establish the disciplic succession. 5,000 years ago, it was detected by the Lord himself that the disciplic succession was broken, and therefore he declared that the purpose of Gita appears to be lost. In the same way, at the present moment, also there are so many editions of Gita, especially in English, but almost all of them are not according to the authorized disciplic succession. There are innumerable interpretations rendered by different mundane scholars, but almost all of them do not accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, although they make a good business on the words of Śrī Kṛṣṇa. The spirit is demoniac because demons do not believe in God, but simply enjoy the property of the Supreme. Since there is a great need of an edition of the Gita in English, as it is received by the Parampara system, an attempt is made herein to fulfill the great want. Bhagavad Gita, accepted as it is a great boon to humanity. But if it is accepted as a treatise of philosophical speculations, it is simply a waste of time. So, I would also like to hear from you. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this purport? You have any comments or thoughts? Yeah, correct. You want to add something to that? Yes.
Whoever reads Bhagavad Gita, they have their own interpretation. Unless you are a pure devotee of Krishna, that Bhagavad Gita would not be like straightforward, not true. So you really have to have that connection with Krishna in order to interpret what's written in all these verses.
Yeah, that is why Prabhupada gave the purport, so that you can interpret correctly. That is why it is as it is. Otherwise, there are like 600 versions. Everybody gave their own interpretations. So that's what you mean, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything from your side? Yes.
Yeah, one thing I want to ask is that
Sure.
it's said somewhere else also in the Gita,
Sure.
different people at different level of consciousness need a different message in order to elevate them from where
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah. Yes.
The point being, even though not all perspectives may be perfect, but maybe some people derive some benefit anyway. Reading Gita instead of reading something else itself is a benefit. But of course you get the true benefit only if you are able to develop the devotion. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
When Krishna to his Supreme Personality, then it is real.
Right.
Then
Correct.
you understand that.
And as it is, like whatever it is coming from the disciplic succession, we don't put our own interpretation.
Once you make the effort to approach
Yes. Yeah.
Gita, it automatically attracts you.
That's very good. Yeah. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. So Krishna sees our sincerity and then he reciprocates in the same manner. Yeah. Perfect. Very nice. Yeah. Suhas, I want to hear from you. Yeah, scientific mind. You can share something scientific. Okay. Aparna ji, you want to say something?
I'll just listen.
Okay. Prabhu ji? Mata ji, you want to say something? Okay. Yeah, so... yeah, that is the best thing to listeners. So I'll tell a small story about this, what Prabhuji said about listener. So when Srila Prabhupada would translate, his Bhakti Vedanta purport, so he will refer a lot of different scriptures, Shvetavsar Upanishad and Katha Upanishad and commentaries from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and our Acharyas. So he will refer all of that in the night. He will sit. He won't sleep much in the night. He will sleep just 2-3 hours, Srila Prabhupada. And then he would have a dictaphone. In the dictaphone, he would speak, he will speak. And it would get recorded into tapes. Like in olden days, those tapes, magnetic tapes was there, right? So it would get recorded. And then Srila Prabhupada would give it to Swat Swarup Goswami Maharaj, his disciple. And he would collect it and then he would turn it over to the transcribers. So they would hear it and then they will write it for the books to be printed. So at that time, one new devotee joined the temple, and that devotee asked Satswarup Goswami Maharaj, I want to hear those tapes from Prabhupada directly. Please give it to me. So he said, okay, take it. You can hear it and give it back. So one day, the temple president asked that new brahmachari to give a class. And he was bewildered, oh, I'm just new, I don't know anything, how can I give the class? So what he did is, he sat on the Vyasasana and he put earplugs and he connected with the tape, and at a place he just opened the pause button and play button, and he wore a chadar around his body so that nobody can see that he has the earplugs. So he will hear one thing, he will play, and then he will pause, and then he will speak and close his eyes. So everybody was thinking like he is giving a very thoughtful class. So and like that he gave the whole class, and after the class, everybody appreciated what a wonderful class he gave. So what he did is exactly what he just listened and he spoke what Prabhupada spoke. And that made, such a big impact. And Srila Prabhupada also used to say that I am just speaking what my Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj is speaking. And Prabhupada would sometimes read his own purports. He would say, I have not written these purports. When I sit down to write, Krishna actually dictates all this to me. So actually this knowledge is coming directly from Krishna. That's why it is said here, right? Evam parampara praptim, evam rajarshi. The supreme science were received through the chain of disciplic succession. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and our Guru Parampara. And in that way it should be understood, then it will have the maximum impact. So yeah, it's also very important that what is the purpose, how attentively we are hearing and we are absorbing, the message. So there is a nice story about it. So a businessman had a parrot in his house, and obviously the parrot is in the cage. So the businessman, he used to go out, and there was a Bhagavatam Katha for 2 weeks. Generally, in India you have Bhagavad Saptah or 2 weeks, whatever. So he used to go every day, and after coming back, he would tell his family members, oh, I heard about this Krishna Katha, about Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, all these stories he will tell all his family members. And the parrot was in that same room, and the parrot was also listening. So, and he was very happy that, oh, parrot also understands, at least somebody is, listening. So parrot said one day that I have one question. Can you ask that question to the speaker of the Bhagavad Katha? So we said, very good, yes. I mean, I don't have question, at least you have a question. I can definitely ask. So he said, what is the question? So the parrot said, the question is, how can I get out of this cage? So he said, okay, all right, I'll go tomorrow and I'll definitely ask this question. So the businessman went next day, and after the Bhagavad Katha was over, he went to the speaker and asked him that, my parrot is asking one question. Can you please help him answer it? He said, what is the question? He said, the question is, how can he get out of the cage? And as soon as the businessman asked that question from the speaker, he immediately fainted. It was a mystery, everybody started bringing water and, started giving him to wake him up, yeah? Huh? CPR, yeah. And tried to wake him up. And this businessman became bewildered, and he came home and he told the family members, that as soon as I asked that question, the speaker fainted. He got unconscious. And he told the parrot also. So parrot said, I got my answer. I understood. Although you didn't understood. Did anyone of you understood? You understood? You want to tell? No. Have you heard this story before, Mataji? Okay, that's why. So next morning, everybody slept, and when the businessman saw the parrot next day, the parrot was dead in the cage. And he opened the cage, and as soon as he opened the cage, the parrot flew away. So, so did you understand?
Yeah, because he has to pretend that he's dead.
Yeah, that's what the answer that the speaker of Bhagavatam class gave. He fainted, right? So that is the same answer that the parrot got, that I should also act like this, and then they will open the cage and I'll run away. So he went to the Bhagavad speaker and told that. He said, oh yeah, you are listening to Bhagavad for 14 days, you couldn't understand, and the parrot understood. So it doesn't matter how many hours or how many years we are listening to the Katha. The main thing is how much essence we have absorbed, and so that was the, how much deep we have gone and connected to Krishna. So it's a nice story. And yeah. And yeah, this is so powerful. I mean, even if we read, like Prabhupada used to say, even if you read one shloka of Bhagavad Gita or even one line or even one word, it's so powerful that it can change your life. So somebody was distributing books and one person came and say, I want that book coming back. So there was, like, our devotees go for book distribution, right? So people come and ask for books. So he asked this person, he asked the book distributor that I want that book coming back from Prabhupada. He said, why do you want coming back? He said, because last time one of your book distributor came and he showed me that book. And when he was showing me that book, I was just flipping away that book. I didn't want it to buy it, I wanted to save money. So I kept standing for many minutes and I keep flipping it and I read few things. And when I went back, I implemented that thing in my life and it changed my life. So I was thinking, if one line can change, then if I read the whole book, what will happen? So that's why I want coming back. So this big book distributor, he said, since you have come back to get coming back, so I don't have it right now. So I have this book, Prayers of Queen Kunti. Why don't you take this? Right now you take this. Since you have already been flipping this book for a few minutes, what if whatever you have read now, you go back and it changes your life, again you come back and you try to find me and you can't find me, then you will regret. So it's better you take this now, and again, when you come meet again, then I can give you coming back also. So he said, okay, then he got convinced. So the idea is, even when we listen or read, even a line can change our life. Scriptures are so powerful. These are the words of Krishna, which our acharyas are bringing to us. And there was one person in the library, he was, reading, he was going over the shelf and he was looking for silent meditation book. So he got one book in the library, in the shelf, and he started reading that silent meditation book. And 3-4 hours passed by, he couldn't understand anything. And then he just, got fed up and he kept the book in the shelf. And as soon as he kept the book, another book fell on his head. And then he said, what happened? And as soon as he opened that book, there was a line. After reading that line, he got shocked. The line said, silent meditation is bogus in this age. He got shocked. What is this? That's what I just realized. I was reading it, I couldn't understand it, and this book is exactly saying the same. And that book was by our dear Acharya Srila Prabhupada, Perfection of Yoga. And he turned out to be a great devotee and the biggest, one of the most successful book distributors in the world. So these are some of the, nice pastimes of the powerful, stories of Srila Prabhupada. So yeah, this was there. And then it is said, that, and this knowledge, it can be applied anywhere, like Raj Rishis, right? Earlier Raj Rishis were kings as well. They were saintly kings. They were not just kings, saintly kings. And they had family. They had many wives, they had many children. So, and they would practice Krishna consciousness, like Ambarish Maharaj, Prataprutra Maharaj, at the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So many instances. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaur Purnima is coming on Thursday, this Thursday. It's a very big festival when we celebrate Gaur Purnima. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was traveling to South India, there was a Kurma Brahman. And Kurma Brahman said, my dear Mahaprabhu, I want to leave everything, my family, and I want to join you. Then Chaitanya Prabhu bole, aichi baat kabhi na kariha. And then he said, grahe raha hari nama nirantar laya. So he said, you stay at home, and while you are at home, just chant the holy name of Krishna. You don't have to go anywhere. So this process is so universal that whatever situation we are in, we can follow that. We can stay with our family, chant the holy name, practice Krishna consciousness at home. So it is very much universal principle which can be followed in any ashram, or whether we are materially elevated or not, whichever situation, it doesn't matter. Material qualification or disqualification is not a criteria for devotional service. So yeah, that was there. And so Prabhuji, how much time we have? 10 more? 5 minutes? Okay.
45, right? Till 45?
Acha, for 10 minutes? 5, 10. Okay. Yeah, and then it is said beautifully, I wanted to also touch this point here. Yeah, one more story before I jump here. So, a lot of people, when people distribute books, they kind of challenge, why are you charging money? So there was one brahmachari in Bombay, he's from IIT Bombay, Gaurang Prabhu. So he was distributing books in the local train of Bombay, and he gave it to one person, and the person took it, and he started to just leave taking the book. So he asked, do you want to give any donation? He said, how much? 75 rupees. So he said, tell me one thing. Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna in Kurukshetra. That was for free. Then why are you charging 75 rupees? Right? Good question. Valid question. What will you answer? What do you think? How will you answer that question?
Bring that message to you from here, because you don't live in Kurukshetra.
So he gave the answer. Yeah, that's a good answer. And he said that where did Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita? He said Kurukshetra. Where are you standing? Mumbai. 75 rupees the transportation charge. That's what he said. So Prabhupada made it very practical, very relevant. So like Aparna Mata, he said, printing cost is there, right? So and we need that, right, to get the books published. So I just remembered one story about the printing press. Shall I share that?
Yeah, sure.
Oh. So there is a company called Dai Nippon, DAI Nippon. It is one of the oldest, publishing companies in the world from Japan. I think it was established around 1846 or something. And I just remembered another story about Nelson Mandela. I'll share that also. So this printing press was, they used to charge a lot of money, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj would go to them and negotiate that, we don't have so much money. He will just give a very low figure, and he said, can you do this for this amount? And they would say, no, we cannot go beyond this. And they would keep arguing like that. And then one day Prabhupada came, like a middleman, So this Dai Nippon actually got bewildered that nobody ever bargained so heavily, And then one day Prabhupada came, and he came as a middleman. It seemed apparently that he was on the side of Dai Nippon. So whatever Tamal Krishna Maharaj, his disciple, would say, and whatever Dai Nippon would say, he would kind of negotiate between both of them. And during this time, Dai Nippon actually started trusting Prabhupada that, okay, he's on our side also. And finally, they printed $50,000 worth of books by just taking a down payment of $5,000. And that's how the first book publishing happened in bulk. So this printing of the books changed the lives of so many people, right? Even great personalities like great presidents like Nelson Mandela. So once Nelson Mandela, South Africa, right? He came to one of the temples, and Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj, is the disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He established a big cow farm in Gita Nagari. We went there near Pennsylvania. And their cow farm is like ahimsa milk. They don't give any violence to the cows. And their milk is non-violent milk approved in US. It is taken by Whole Foods, and it is transported all over the US. It's very famous. So he established the whole community there. So he met Maharaj, and Maharaj started preaching to him, started telling some Bhagavad Gita shloka. And Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj spoke just 2 lines, and Nelson Mandela spoke another 2 lines. And Bhakti Tirth Maharaj got bewildered. What is this? How do you know this Bhagavad Gita shlokas? He said, I will tell you my past. He said, I was in the jail,
7 years.
Yeah, 27 years he was in the jail. Which jail was that? Yeah, South Africa near Cape Town, there is a maximum security jail. The name is even maximum security because it is an island called Robben's Island. On a rob, so you can't go anywhere, you know, it's on an island, it's very much secured. So he said, I was in the jail, in the prison, and there was an Indian lawyer who had this Bhagavad Gita. And he said that we have to spend here so many years, we'll go mad. It's better we start memorizing the verses of Bhagavad Gita. So there I started memorizing the verses of Bhagavad Gita. That's why I know all this. And then Srila Prabhupada asked one of the leaders of the temple who was in charge of that yatra that, how did he do it? He meant like, how did he spread this Krishna consciousness in different cultures all over the world? How is it possible? You know, so Srila Prabhupada answers that I just spoke the word of my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta. I am just speaking from the parampara. So, and that made such a big impact. So, yeah, that was the power of it. And then it is said here that the demons are, the spirit is demoniac because demons do not believe in God but simply enjoy the property of Supreme. Can you give the example of someone who is enjoying the property, who enjoyed the property of the Supreme? Ravan, right? Ravana took away Sita. Ravan took away Sita. So, and we all know that, you know, after Hanumanji, after Hanumanji, you know, came and burnt all the Lanka, then then what happened? Ravan called the assembly. Ravan called the assembly, and then they started to discuss like what's you know, what's next. Bro, do we have time or we are up? How much time we have?
You can finish the story.
I can finish? Okay. Yeah. So before the story, I just remember that, you know, the demons, like, they do not believe in God, and there are so many different things they want to do. For example, someone in South India, priest of the temple, they offered a diamond crown to Krishna, you know, in South India. And there was a lot of media buzz. They were saying, hey, why are you spending so much on Krishna? You should have given that money to the poor. You should have fed the poor. You should have built a hospital or whatever. Why are you giving this money to Krishna? And this priest of the temple, he answered to the media. He said, when the leaders of your country, of any country in the world, they go out, how much money is spent on the security, right? So one of the Prabhupada disciples, he went to a party in America where the president was there, and he was telling that, you know, there were helicopters in the air, and there were like 4 police cars, and the house where the party was held, there was submarine inside the ocean. You know, this at least $1 million or something would be spent, and there are so many security guards around, right? So aerial, water, ground, everywhere the security is there. And the president had like 3 parties in the same day. So imagine how much money would have been spent. So if somebody loves Krishna and they want to give to Krishna, then why do you have a problem? He asked those media persons. You know, and we offer it like once in 12 years. What is the problem? You know, Krishna is the proprietor of the whole world. Aham sarvasya prabhu, Ishvara parama Krishna. And I mean, so what's the problem? And then, I mean, I don't know about what happened after that, but that's what he answered. And similarly, like, and I was telling the story of Hanuman. After Hanuman, basically he burned the whole Lanka. Ravana called all the, you know, all his team. So Prahasta was the commander-in-chief, Mahodar, and then Vibhishan, Indrajit, everyone was there. And so this Prahasta said, actually Hanuman came at a time that when we least expected him. That's why he made such a mess and we were defeated. Had he come at a time when we were prepared, we would have killed him. You know, and we are ready to kill the entire monkey army. Like that. Mahodar also said like that. And Kumbhakarna, then Kumbhakarna got up. Kumbhakarna said, actually Ravana, what you have done is not correct. Because you have kidnapped the wife of someone when he was not there. That is not correct according to Dharma. I mean, it is strange that even the demons, they would believe in, this dharma and ethics and scriptures. And that is not correct. But since you are my brother, I will be on your side. So Ravana was insulted, but he was happy that ultimately he supported it. And then Vibhishan said that, Ravana, this is not correct. You should give back Sita to Ram. And if you do not do that, then did you see the power of one monkey? And Lord Ram is so powerful, he will come and kill our whole dynasty. You should not do like that. And then Indrajit got up. Indrajit was very angry. Indrajit said, no, I will kill everybody. You are my uncle, but you are behaving as if you are an enemy. And then Vibhishan said, you are a fool number one. You will be the cause of the destruction of the dynasty. And then Ravana also got angry. Ravana said, Vibhishan, were you not my brother, I would have killed you. But since you are my brother, I will reject you and immediately you leave from here. So then Vibhishan rose up in the air with his mystic power, and with his 4 commanders he flew in the air and crossed the Indian Ocean and went to Lord Sri Ram. And all the monkeys were basically looking at Vibhishan and with his 4 generals, and they immediately informed the leader Sugriva. And Sugriva came, and Sugriva said that, why have you come here? So Vibhishan said, I have come here to be in your army. So Sugriva said that, no, we can't do that. He told Ram, Sugriva told Lord Sri Ram that, no, we cannot do that, because he is actually a demon. He is the brother of Ravana, right? Tomorrow if the choice comes to kill you or Ravana, he will actually kill you. Other monkey soldiers, Jamvant and other also said, no, we should not keep him. He may be a spy. Ravana may have sent a spy and he may just, take away our secrets and tell Ravana. We shouldn't do that. Everybody said no. But then Lord Ram looked at Hanumanji. Hanumanji is always very calm and meditative. Hanumanji said that actually when I was in Lanka, when I was face to face with Ravan, then Vibhishan only asked Ravan not to kill me, because it is against the dharma to kill a messenger like that. So, and looking at his face, his intentions are clear on his face. I fully trust him. Let us include him in our army. So he said, okay, let us include him. And then Lord Ram says, if one surrenders oneself to me, I immediately accept him. Sakradeva prapanno me tavasmiti sayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadati etad vratam mama. So even if one surrenders to me, I fully accept him, and there is, he's out of fear. He will have no fear. So he accepted him, and he asked Lakshman to go to the ocean, bring some water. He did Abhishek of Vibhishan and consecrated him as the king of Lanka. So like that, and obviously then after that, the bridge started building, 800 miles bridge, which is 100 yojanas and 100 miles wide, and they started to build the bridge. So I can keep speaking the Ramayana, but I don't know how much time we have, so I don't know. Yeah, so the lesson from this pastime is that if once with our full heart we surrender to Radha Giridhari, then Radha Giridhari will accept us and protect us and give us the love and blessings that we need. So we can, with our heart, we can surrender and say, Lord, I love you and I surrender to you. You are mine. We can do that. Shri Radha Giridhari ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. Thank you.